I've been getting a ton of requests to play Black Desert Online and give my thoughts on it, and I finally decided to play it. I had been holding off on this game a little because I was burnt out on Korean free-to-play MMOs after Blade and Soul, but the fact that Black Desert Online is a pay-to-own game did give me some hope. I like the pay-to-own model, and I think it was a wise choice here for two reasons. First, it forces people to follow rules and be civil a little bit more. A problem you run into with a lot of free-to-play games is a community of people who don't necessarily follow the rules. It isn't really a problem to be reported and banned for trolling or exploiting the game when you can just make another character for free. So giving the game a price tag reduces that a little bit more and forces people to be a little bit nicer to each other. The second reason is because I feel like with a pay-to-own model, the company in charge will be much less likely to put items in cash shops that are going to cause that pay-to-win feeling. It personally doesn't really bother me, but I know that it's better for a game's overall health to not have those items. So on to the actual game. Starting with character creation, it was nice to see so many options. I was a little bit worried about this game because the first announcements of it showed character-locked classes, but as it turns out, there's a very in-depth character editor. What I really liked is the way they handled changing facial features. It's very interesting and feels easier to use than the typical slider approach. I always choose kind of a long, white-haired character because I'm kind of a weeb. Even though I thought I chose a fairly pale complexion and silver hair, in-game it ended up looking more like tan and stark white hair. Oh well. Now I'm not going to be afraid to admit that I have no idea what's going on. I've only played this game for a few hours and I feel overwhelmed and bombarded with information. The basics of combat and questing feel the same as any other MMO, but everything else feels a little unintuitive and clustered. Icons and information float around the screen constantly and I have no idea what any of it means. I'm sure there is a way to disable all of this, but it's not a good first impression. The first thing I want to do in a game is explore and just fight some basic enemies, and later to be eased into more technical and difficult things. As for the gameplay itself, it actually feels very good. The action combat seems to actually work, and the movement feels nice. I was kind of surprised when I ran into an NPC and there seemed to be some amount of collision there. It made a noise at least. That, combined with what seems to be a massive open world, immediately gave me that feeling of adventure. And it's not very common for MMOs to do that to me anymore. I haven't played the game enough to know much about the combo system or exactly what everything means, so I could be missing something, but I do have a few complaints. Monster HP didn't seem to actually go down when I dealt damage some of the time. It could be something I missed or just a bug, but it is immersion breaking. Another problem is just graphical issues all over the place. This could just be my computer though. And finally, a lot of the cutscenes seemed oddly placed and dialogue very stilted. I know this is probably a result of the game being translated from another language, but once again, it's just sort of immersion breaking. So all in all, my first thoughts of the game is that it has potential to be incredible. It looks and feels like it could be a great MMO. What it mainly seems to lack is polish. It could also definitely use a bit more of a tutorial or a slower easing into some of the game's concepts instead of just bombarding the screen with information at all times. I'll definitely be playing more of it in the future, and if I like it, I'll be putting out some more videos. Though I have this odd feeling that a different game is going to be taking up most of my time here pretty soon. Anyway, I'm Kothorix, and you have a wonderful day.